What's going on, everybody? We are about to get the biggest donation to our channel of all time, or get scammed on Cash App. Let's give someone our email and find out what happens. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Nicest Nick. Today we're doing something a little unique. I know a lot of nonprofits out there and kind of newer channels are saying, you know, it's awesome to go out and do these nice things, but when can I start accepting donations and how does that process work? So a very popular app to do that with is CashApp. So we're going to dive into what happens and some common scams to avoid when using that platform, because on one of my posts someone reached out and said, hey, love your content, you know, send me your Cash App, would love to support. So I said, great. I pulled up the profile. And let's dive into our conversations and what exactly happened and find out if we got the $3,000 that she wanted to send. Boom, easy enough. I was like, hey, here's my Cash App. You know it's me. It's The Nicest Nick. It's got my logo. We have my details. I say, hey, I hope this is real. And she's like, awesome. It's your lucky day. $3,000 donation. So at this point, I'm like, I'm a little skeptical, but let's find out. You know, people have done crazier things on the internet. Maybe this is a real thing. They did a lot of work on that profile if it was totally fake. So I sent the info. She replies, is this you? Confirmed it was me. I was like, okay, it's looking pretty real at this point. She's going through due diligence, making sure it's real. I say, great. I'm like, oh my gosh, hope this is real. Would really love to get a new camera, you know, hyping it up. And then she goes, hey, you know, not only is it real, here's some examples of folks I've already sent the money to. And at this point, if there weren't already some red flags going off, this was a big one for me. So these were pretty odd videos. So she reached out to me in a lot of our messages right around this idea of, hey, I want to support people like you that are supporting nonprofits and doing these nice things. And she sent me one of these videos. This kid up here, he actually says like, hey, I'm so excited to have found a sugar mama, which is, you know, very odd for the philanthropist religious lady. And then this other picture, obviously any photo you see with text or someone holding up a sign, it's very easy to edit, kind of change whatever that picture says, right? So I'm like, okay, this is starting to look even faker. But then I got this, it's like, hey, I'm about to send the $3,000 now. And this is, you know, a very common scam for Cash App. So I was like, you know what, I'll get scammed today because then we can at least teach folks and other nonprofits how this works to help save you some money in the future, right? So at this point, you know, dreams crushed. I know it's a scam. So I said, fine, totally cool. I sent it. You know, what happens next? Hit send. What's going on? I don't have anything in the app. All you need for Cash App, I will say this a million times, because the most common scams for all of these is that they ask for other information that has nothing to do with the app. The only thing you need to send someone money on Cash App is the link I sent at the very beginning. They don't need anything else. They don't need your phone number. They don't need your email address. That's just personal information they can use to send you something outside of Cash App to try and scam you. So I made up a fake email. I said, hey, you know, nicestnick@gmail.com. You can email it there. And she sends me this, and it's a Stripe invoice. So for those of you who don't know, Stripe is just a merchant system or a point of sale system. There's a lot of tools that Stripe has, but she made up a fake receipt and sent it through Stripe to make it look like, I guess, that she had paid me $3,000. But if I'm very familiar with Stripe, so I know this. She essentially sent me a bill to make it look like, oh, I billed my account $3,000, but I need to verify it's you. Before I can verify it, I need some sort of verification fee. So then I'm like, hey, this seems kind of weird. So she immediately sends me a boom, 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 all these other messages with more people saying, you know, thank you so much for, you know, sending me this money. And again, she started sending me more messages that were like, thank you, Mama Heather. So I think before she kind of changed her profile up to target nonprofits and people trying to do good, she had some other maybe more nefarious scheme, because a lot of the messages were kind of more sexually toned in nature, which doesn't really make sense for someone trying to get, you know, give back to nonprofits and kind of donate to the food bank, right? And then she kept saying, hey, once this payment is authorized through my payroll, I can send you the rest of the balance, right? It's tied up in my payroll system. Immediately, I was like, okay, a lot of red flags. I know this is fake. Let's see what other kind of information comes out of this, just so we can keep showing people what to avoid in these types of interactions. So she says, hey, what's the authorization fee? So I even tell her, hey, this is just a memo section on a Squarespace receipt. And she's like, oh, no, it's pending already. Look, it's waiting to complete. It's just this authorization fee. They've got these kind of canned answers, but I still wanted to play it off a little bit like I don't know what's going on, just to see how far this would go. So she's like, hey, I'm going to keep sending you screenshots. Will you send me a screenshot of like you sending me this $57, and then I'll send this payment out, right? So I just typed into Cash App, hey, $57. And she was like, oh, no, you're doing it wrong. I need to actually see your account balance. So then I made this fake screenshot, which she caught and called me out. She's like, hey, this is edited. I'm like, you photoshopped the image. So at that point, the gig was up and I was like, oh no. I wasn't trying to be super mean. I was like, look, I hope you stop trying to scam people, especially folks that are trying to do great things and help others. Like that's just an extra bad scam in my mind, right? She went from, hey, I would love to kind of fund your additional camera equipment so you can go film and do more nonprofit events, to just trying to scam me out of $57. That feels kind of extra bad. But I thought this was a great opportunity to highlight all the stuff you need to look out for when you're making new content on the internet, right? A lot of the organizations I've started to work with are much newer to social media and to that, what happens when you get donations or volunteers through online media. And a lot of it can be real and good and awesome, right? And it kind of brightens your day and people are liking your content. But at the same time, a lot of it can be this, right? Where you say, hey, I want to donate money. I want to support your channel. But in reality, they're just trying to scam you out of, $60 or even more in some cases. So please take this as a learning moment, right? If you're doing content or doing good or a nonprofit we're trying to support, if anything sounds too good to be true, a lot of the times it is. So take an extra moment and think to yourself, does the person trying to help me or donate to my cause really need this information? Or are they trying to get extra information out of me because it has got to be a scam, right? There's no need for them to try and demand this other information. So moral of the story, if someone is trying to give you money on Cash App and ask for your email, don't give it to them. Tell them, nope. No, thank you. End the conversation. Block them, report them, get out of there. Save yourself, your nonprofit, or your good cause some money, and save that for doing something extra good. I hope you learned something today. Please use this information to stay safe. Don't get scammed out there. And to all my other organizations doing great, I hope the donations that are coming your way are real and help you do nicer things. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I know it sounds crazy, but it's free for you, and it really does help the organizations we work with because they get more reach and they get more folks that go back and actually volunteer and help them out. Big channel news too. Be on the lookout for later in May because we got invited to our first galas that are happening in the coming weeks. Very excited to get some footage there and show you guys some behind the scenes shots of how nonprofits are growing here in our area. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.